Good morning and welcome to my channel PawfectPastimes. My name's Amanda. My friends call me Amo and I live in Dorset in the southwest of England with my husband and my two dogs. And as always, Willow is there. Any noises, it's her. Anyway, how are you all? I've been very busy this week out in the garden. As you can imagine, it's getting quite explosive out there. We also had the delivery of our little cabin thing we're going to put on the deck that I made, which I showed you a few episodes ago, and I'm trying very hard to stain it between the showers. It's easy to paint it, stain it before it's assembled while it's still in flat pack, on the majority of it anyway. So I've been trying to get on with that, and it keeps threatening to rain, even though the weather pictures online tell you it's not going to rain. It is, and we're having these dotty showers. It's not even as though you can say it's going to rain between 2 and 3 or something. It's, oh, there's another cloud, it's going to rain. It's ridiculous weather. 1 minute it's sunshine and warm, and then it's wet and blowy and calm and hail and anyway. I'm hoping tomorrow is going to have a bigger weather window and I can finish painting the side panels of the little statutory deck cabin that we're going to put up the top of the garden, and so I can get on with that. But who knows? Right, how are you all? I hope you're all good. I hope you've all had a good week. I've had a good week, but I have woken up with a bit of vertigo today. It's not something to do with the cancer. It's something I've had for quite some time, some years, and I think mine is down to a trapped nerve in my neck. So I might have just pulled something when I've been moving wood around. It's happened many times before, and it's just like the first inklings of having one glass too many. But I've taken some paracetamol and I'm being very cautious with my neck, and it will pass. But Dawn, you know the giddiness very well. It's quite a woozy feeling, but I'm going to get on with this because I wasn't sure I was going to do it, but I am. Okay, and we'll start with what I am wearing, which is my first finish today, and it is my Calliope done in Yarn for the Soul Sea Scape, a merino sock blend, and I held it double with a Kid Silk Haze, which is 0676 Aura, and the cuffs I've done in Thor, which is a Pixie Yarns grey, which matches the grey in the sleeve colour, and that is also held with the Aura Kid Silk Haze. Sorry, struggling a bit. Anyway, so I finished the length down to my usual. It's about an inch too short, to be honest, but it is merino and I haven't blocked it yet. It's literally hot off the needles. So there's the sleeves. You can see the little Vickle braid I did as the divider between the two yarn colours. There is a bit of, you can see slightly larger stitches there, but that should block out when I get to block it. And I should gain at least an inch, I think. So I've been a bit cautious with how I finished it because I don't want it sort of saggy around me bum. And I want to show you my cast-offs, so I'm going to get out of this so I can show you better. It wasn't my boobs talking to you, I was talking to you as well. Anyway, I'll just get changed and I'll show you what I mean. Ta-da! I am now wearing my Fiola by Isabel Kramer, which I finished last year, I think. It's in Drop Soft Tweed colour number 3, and I'll link below the podcast I did which talked about this. It's the one with the lovely sleeve patterning. Now, this is my Calliope, and I did the sleeves, the extra long sleeve cuffs, which is what the Calliope calls for. When I cast off the body, as you see, it's a 2x1 rib. I cast off in a normal fashion. I cast off fairly loosely, it's quite stretchy, and you get the little row of stitches all along the bottom. When I cast off the cuffs, I wanted to do a sewn Italian bind off. The sewn bind off is usually only for a 1x1 rib. All the videos online I can find do a 1x1 rib, but I do love the way that it goes straight over the top, and I thought there's got to be a way of doing a 2x1 rib, because I didn't really want that little line of stitches on the bottom again like that. So I sat and fiddled and fiddled and fiddled and fiddled, and I think I've just about managed it. If you look closely, can you see that the stitches go over? There's no chain along the edge there. So they have an Italian finish, Italian sewn or a sewn bind off finish on a 2x1 rib. And I think it works pretty well how I figured this out. So I'm just going through, considering making a video of how I did it, which I will put on the channel if anybody's interested. I love the finish on a, on a 1x1 rib. And I'm really quite pleased with that. And I think I am going to undo the hem and recast off in my version of an Italian bind off for a 2x1 rib and see how that goes, because I think it looks a lot prettier than that chain all the way along. So is there anything else on here I can tell you that I haven't already told you? I don't think so. The Calliope pattern is by Espace Tricot, and I have made one before. My Advent sweater I used Blue Fern yarns I did last year is the Calliope. For me it's a lovely fitting sweater. I've got to put the back label in yet, but I think I am going to undo that bottom hem and redo the Italian bind off, sewn bind off in 2x1, and then I will block it. But with this very wet weather, it's going to take a little bit of time to dry because we haven't got the heating on. One of my spare bedrooms has got the airing cupboard in it, and the hot pipes come out from the airing cupboard under the floor, and it's quite a nice little warm patch in front of the airing cupboard door, and that's where I usually do my blocking. I put my blocking mats there and it gets a little bit of extra warmth. Of course the heating's not on because it's not that cold, though we are still lighting the fire, but it keeps raining. Otherwise I'd put the blocking mats outside and I'd block this out there. I think I'll do the new cast off before I block it. I'm not sure. I might block it first and then do the cast off. The trouble is it's got the Kid Silk in it, so it might start biting itself, you know, not felting, but start sitting in where it wants to be. And I don't really want to block the ends twice. But I'm really pleased with the Vickle braid. I hope that's coming into focus for you. It just adds a little division between the two colours. So that's my Calliope II, and I have no worries about being short of yarn. That's how much of the yarn for the sole I've got left. I've got my scales here, I'll just weigh that for you. 113 grams. So I could have got that sweater out of three skeins very easily, being held with the Kid Silk Haze. And I have 80 grams of the Thor left. So those sleeves only took 10 grams each. Those long cuffs took 10 grams each, which isn't bad, is it? So I definitely know if I'm going to hold a 4-ply with a floof, I can get a sweater out of 3 skeins. I now have 100 gram skein and the best part of 100 gram skein left. And the next Shawl Society is coming out soon, so I wonder if I can use that for it. And I have plenty of the floof left. I have 26 grams of the floof, so that's a whole ball as well. Which now leads me on to my next finish. And you can see Clarice has commandeered it, so I'll go and get it to show you. Now, speaking of the Shawl Society 6 by Helen Stewart, this was the first release this year, and this is the Serpentine Pavilion Shawl, which came out in April. I think the next one is due out on about the 21st of this month. It's every month for 6 months you get a new pattern, which we don't know about until the release day. They were given ideas of what yarns we're supposed to collect together, and she gives you several options, so you're not held to one. And for this serpentine shawl, you can see it's got a cable all down one of the sides there. It's a triangle, and I've used a Rowan sock yarn that I had lurking in one of my bags, and I don't think that's come out of too bad a size, to be honest. I'm not very good at styling triangles. I'm not very good at fashion at all, to be honest. There we go. And you can see the cable going right the way up the side there. Now, this is a Rowan sock, and I can't remember the colour, so I'll put that in the show notes or on the screen. And for a striping sock, that is quite large stripes. Those stripes don't change very often when there's an awful lot of stitches there. I think when there's usually the socks I make are about 60 stitches, which is about that wide, so they'd be very blocky stripes in your sock. But as a grey for the shawl, I think it works quite well. And the best bit about it is it's now not sitting in my stash upstairs wondering what it's doing there. It's a shawl. This has been blocked because it's quite thin. It's done on a 4.5mm, and it is a sock yarn, so it is quite drapey, which I'm quite pleased with. So I will now add that to my winter shawls, which I've just put away in their moth-proof bags. And that's my second finish for this week, so I'm very, very pleased with that. So what else have I been working on? The only other thing I've been really working on, and it's not much because I wanted to finish the shawl and the Calliope, which Clarice has now got on, and that is my 3-season cardigan by Woolen Pine. I spoke about this in the last one, and I popped in a stitch marker, which is on the wrong side of the work, a progress keeper, sorry. I popped a progress keeper in where I'd got to last time, which was there, and I've done another 1.5 inches. You can now really start to see the lace, the twisted pearls, the mini lobster claw, the large cable pattern panel there, and then it repeats onto the other side. This is the back. The yellow is a provisional cast on, so that goes at the top and it goes across the neck like that. And then obviously we're going to pick up there and work the fronts down for the cardigan. It is back and forth rather than in the round, which is fine. I'm happy with that because some of the pattern is done on the purl side. But I'm quite pleased with how it's coming up. The cables are now in their set places. I'm getting used to the patterns now, and it's becoming faster. So that is the only thing I've really got left on the needles, other than a couple of shawls that are in my Project 10 bag. And I went through that. Oh, my voice went then. I went through that a couple of months ago. So I have a bit of space in my knitting lineup. You know, I don't like having too many. I don't mind having projects. They're all in there. But I do keep control of how many whips I've actually got on the needles. So I will get one of the projects out of my, one of the shawls out of my Project 10 bag, which needs moving on a little bit. But that does give me room for a couple of new projects. It helps if I keep the pattern in with the knitting that I'm doing, doesn't it? There we go. Okay, now a garment. I like the cabling that I'm doing on the 3-season cardigan. I do love a cable. I'd like something a bit simpler, but not necessarily. I'm letting myself in for a fall here. The one thing I was going to promise myself to do was an autumn sweater. And when I went to unravel, I went to the Bird Street Yarns store and I saw the Lorien sweater. There she is. And this is Elenor Mortenson. Now, Bird Street Yarns, who are running the big flock today, I hope they're having a wonderful time and everybody who's there is having a wonderful time. I've not made it there yet, but I intend to one year. It's literally over by where my daughter lives. I just haven't had the chance to arrange to go. It sounds like a fabulous show. So Bird Street Yarns had this on a mannequin on their stand, and I thought it was beautiful, but they didn't have this colourway. They had the colourway Lulworth and Barricane, and I've forgotten which way round they are, but this one is the main colour and this is the contrast for the leaves. And I don't live far from Lulworth Cove, which is near Kimmeridge, where my son used to do a lot of surfing, and Barricane Beach is near where he was born in North Devon. So this absolutely 100% needed to come home with me, and I thought the leaves that you can see on that are absolutely beautiful, and I'd like it as an autumn sweater, an autumn make. So I thought I'd cast this on in June anyway, and we're as near as damn it in June now. So I think I might cast this on, and a bit of colour work to go alongside some cable work isn't really out of the ballpark, is it? It's perfectly doable. So I'm going to cast that on, I think. And hopefully next time I see you, I might have a bit of the Lorien underway. I haven't fully read the pattern yet, but I'm told that's what I can make it out of those 3 balls of yarn. There's nothing held with it, and I only just managed to do that one. I still had 100 grams left, so I'm hoping I can get out of those 3 balls. But we'll see. That can now go into my Eldenwood project bag, because that has become empty since the Calliope II has come out of it. So I'm going to have that on the needles, the three-season cardigan, and one of my I need to move it along projects from my Project 10 shawl bag. And I also had, which I grabbed out of my project made up box, another little cowl. And this is called Birds and Ships by Caitlin Hunter. And I saw this and I thought that I had a very special yarn that I bought at Newton Abbot for another project, and it wasn't quite right for it. It was the Hoggy Locatelli mystery shawl along, which I used another yarn, and I can't remember the name of it, but I made that with that rather than this one. Because it was an unknown pattern, I wanted to do something that was a little less precious, should we say, because I might not like the pattern when it came out. But I saw this pattern and I thought, that is beautiful. I like the drape on it. I like the little tassel at the bottom. And the other yarn that I bought that day at Newton Abbot was the Camel's yarn. I'll have to put my eyes on so I can tell you about it. Having my glasses off is helping with the vertigo, so I'm sorry if they're off and on. This is the one I chose, and it's the Camel's yarn. And it is the softest, most beautiful, look at that drape. And there's a slight halo. And it's comfort fingering, 70% alpaca, 20% silk and 10% cashmere. I can't tell you how soft this is. And the colour is By the Wind Sailor. And it is these beautiful sea greens and blues mottled through. My lighting in here is being very generous today and being quite accurate. So I'm very pleased to have a special pattern for this very special yarn. I don't know why she's called it a By the Wind Sailor. To me, I don't know if you've seen, they sometimes wash up. By the Wind sailors are like a little jellyfishy thing, and they've got a little ridge that catches the wind on the tide and sometimes blows them ashore, and they're very purple and blue, and that is very green. But it is the most beautiful colours. It's almost like a rock pool. So I think I may get on with that as well as a new cast on. In this very special yarn. And I think that would be nice to wear interseasonal as well, because it's sort of lightweight and it's got a nice bit of lace in it. So we'll see if I can cast that on, get one of the I want to move it on projects going, and cast on the Lorien. And I think I'm probably set for my next batch of makes. I have quite a few in the pipeline. Excuse me, I've now got some fluff in my eye from the yarn. It bit me, it bit me. I am wanting to do the video for how I did the sewn bind off. I'll include how I do a normal sewn bind off anyway. There's lots of videos out there for it. But I want to show you how I've done the 2x1 sewn bind off. And I also want to start a new journal. Oh dear. A nature journal. I have done a little bit in my other one that I started earlier in the year, but I want to do one specifically on the moths that we're trapping. I think it would be nice to have one that is all on one subject. And after I finish talking to you at the end and said goodbye, I will insert the last time we moth trapped about a week and a bit ago, and I've compiled a little video of seeing the moths and what they are at the end underneath. So if you don't want to see the moths, after I say goodbye, I'll say goodbye. But if you do want to see the moths or don't mind seeing the moths, carry on and I'll put it on afterwards. But I thought some of them I would like to put in a new nature journal. So I've got one set up. I'm going to have a think about which ones I want to paint, and I'm going to start putting them in the journal as soon as I get 5 minutes that isn't involved with running in and out of the house with the weather and trying to get things done in the garden. And I've got this annoying hair in my eye now. Okay, so I think that is everything I am up to at the moment. I hope to get back to you next week with a little bit of life podcast. If not, I will definitely be putting up a couple of videos of the how I've done the sewn bind off. And in the meantime, I hope the weather's kind for you and you manage to get out and do what you need to do. I'm hoping May might move along pretty quick with this weather soon. I don't want to wish a year away, but oh, it's getting bitter cold sometimes. It's gone really thick cloud out there now, so the temperature's dropped. So have a lovely week and stay safe and stay creative, and I will see you all again all very soon. Don't forget the moths are coming on now. Bye.